Thank you for joining us today. Alrighty. I'm Jared, and today we're talking about all things go-to-market using Firmable's new MCP. Couple of things before we get stuck into things today. A quick question for the room. What's your current role? Drop it into the poll section. That'll pop up on your screen in a second. We'd love to get a feel for the different types of folks joining us today. We've also got a second question we'd love to get your thoughts on, which is what is your tool of choice? Are you more of a Claude person, a ChatGPT person, or do you use something completely different? Let's see what you're working with. Let some folks fill that in. Amazing. We've got a very, very good mix. That's perfect because today isn't about one tool in particular. It's about Firmable showing up inside whichever tool you're already using daily. Okay, everyone, a quick rundown on what we'll be covering today. First, I'll be sharing an introduction to Firmable and the team we have on the call today. Then I'll be handing over to Kokum, who'll be walking us through the background and strategy into why we built the Firmable MCP. Then we'll hand over to Asha, who's going to walk us through 5 real use cases live, from a simple contact search all the way to building and syncing a full prospecting list. That'll be the bulk of our time for today's webinar, about 30 minutes. And then we'll close out with about 10 minutes of Q&A with Kokum. So please do keep your questions coming in as we go, and you can find that down the bottom of your screen in the Q&A section. For any first timers or people just that are new
Jared, do you
to...
want to share your screen? Just a quick one. I just realized the screens might not be shared for the attendees.
Oh, gotcha. That should be coming up now. Amazing. So for any new timers or people that are not used to using Firmable, Firmable is your B2B database and sales platform that brings together rich company and people records and prospecting signals that tell you exactly who's ready to buy and when. And this is really designed to help you close more deals faster. Compared to some of the global providers, we provide really strong data accuracy that's locally sourced and built specifically for each market that we operate in. What this means is you'll see 2 times more contact details, and you can spend more time working accounts that are actually going to matter for you and your business. Today, you'll be hearing from myself. We also have Asha, and we also have Kokum from Firmable on the call today. I'm a product marketing manager here at Firmable. I'm really focused on helping people, both new and existing customers, get the most out of the platform. And I'm really keen to see folks take full advantage of MCP into their daily workflows. But we also have Asha. Asha, please tell us a little bit about you and your role.
Yeah, hey everybody, my name is Asher. I'm the go-to-market engineering lead at Firmable. I'm actually based in Singapore, so if you are calling in from Singapore, thanks for taking your 10:30 to join us today. Obviously, for our Australian folks, it's your lunchtime, so hope this is a good lunch and learn for you. But generally, I do all things GTM, AI, and automation here at Firmable. But prior to this role, something interesting is that I actually spent 5 years in different SaaS companies as both an SDR and AE. So I've kind of done both the revenue side and the tech side. And my job today is simple, right? I want to take all these things with Firmable MCP, all the great technical stuff, but make it simple for all of you, since most of you are going to be salespeople, I assume, and hopefully help you get more pipeline through whatever we have built.
Cool.
Amazing. And Kokum, over to you.
Hey everyone, I'm Kokum. I lead product at Firmable. I work across the entire roadmap. So that's from ideation all the way until our features get delivered, which means I work with an amazing product and engineering team who's bringing all of these ideas to life. And I also work across the sales and marketing functions within Firmable to bring those features to you. And prior to this, I've been working in tech, product, engineering, analytics, etc. I also got time at the end, I think, to take your questions today, but I want to take a minute to talk about why Firmable built our MCP, what our thinking is behind this. And at the start of the year, we saw a real shift in how people work, especially with Anthropic launching Claude Code and co-work. We saw people shifting away from using AI for just conversational chats and actually shifting to a place where our workflows live within our AI tools. And we asked a very simple question from ourselves. How do we bring our great data and the buying signals that we have to where you work, where a salesperson's working? And that's how we came up with the Firmable MCP. Um, if you can think of the MCP as a translational layer between any of the AI tools that you're working in, be it ChatGPT, Claude, Codex, Windsurf, whatever it may be. It's a single protocol that translates our natural language and allows us to connect to the great data, infirmable company data, contact data, signals that we finding similar companies, etc. So that's how the Firmable MCP was birthed. And today, Asha will walk you through some of the great use cases for our MCP. Over to you, Asha.
All right. Thanks for that, Kokum. So what I want to do right now is obviously Kokum has given all of you the whole concept on why we built MCP. What I want to do is just bring things closer to home. Now, again, most of us are salespeople, SDR, AAs on this call. We are simple people, right? We just want to get in touch with the prospect, get a meeting, or we just want to close the deal. Fairly straightforward. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a sales rep today, in this day and age, your life is complex. Let's take an example, right? Maybe you're trying to reach out to a company, you're trying to break into an account. What you might do is use something like Firmable, as you see on the screen. You might be filtering out the key people that you want to reach out to, or you might bring in a set of accounts from a CSV or a set of contacts from a CSV. Doesn't matter what it is, you will try to build your buying committee. But before you can reach out to anyone in that company, guess what? You have to check in your CRM. Could be HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, whatever it may be. You have to check to make sure nobody else is also touching that account. You have to ensure that the person that you're reaching out to, nobody has reached out to that person 7 days ago. And what about if you have something like Gong or Fathom or any call recording tools out there? You might want to, if someone has spoken to that company 3 months ago, you might want to grab the transcript, understand the context, and reach out in a relevant manner. But the whole idea is this. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you have to click into different tools and you have to be getting information from different places. But let's just imagine if we can reduce all of that. With the MCP, especially with Firmable, you can start to connect Firmable's great quality data and signals into Claude. Same thing that you can connect your CRM to Claude and your other tools into Claude as well. This whole idea of MCP is just a connector where you bring it into one place, which is your chat interface. Doesn't matter if it's Claude or ChatGPT. And all you got to do is use natural language to ask questions. Hey, can you find me this person from this company? Give me the email. Hey, can you check if this person exists in our CRM? Everything is just in one interface. You just speak to Claude and the magic happens. Doesn't matter if it's taking information or taking action on certain things. So that's the concept that we want to introduce today with this webinar. So let's just get into it. Now, the first thing that you have to do when it comes to the Firmable MCP is just make sure that you get connected. Now, what do? All it's pretty simple. Just go to connect.firmable.ai, which is a website that Jared will run through later on at the end of the webinar. This is just a website for all things MCP, webhooks, integrations, API. Because we're talking about MCP here, just click on MCP. click on getting started. And this is what I have to say. If you're a sales rep today, you don't like to deal with tech stuff, or maybe you prefer not to, this is as technical as it gets. Just click on any setup that you're using, go through the steps, and you'll be ready to go. Now, for some of you, especially you're in what we call bigger companies, your company might have a bit more of a security, maybe limitations. If you find that you can't really follow this setup, simply just ask our team or just pass this page to your tech team and they will be able to figure it out. So that's pretty much it. Now, let's get back into the introduction. The question is, what can we actually do with the Firmable MCP? Now, many other presenters, they probably would say, great, hey, here's the 7-page slide on what you can do. But instead, I want to jump straight into the concept of using the MCP, using natural language. So again, you can see I'm in Claude right now. It's the LLM that we are using. I'm connected to Firmable, Fathom, Figma, HubSpot, a lot of these applications. And I'll show you how they all come together later. But what I can do is simply just ask in Claude. And I might say something like, I'll ask a question, what can you do with a Firmable MCP? Can you give me a detailed breakdown? And this right here, just using natural language, is calling the Firmable MCP, where it has all the functions and information about what the MCP can do. So everything from search and discovery, record lookups, contact enrichment, list enrichment, so on and so forth. Now, if I want to, I can even use my voice and say something like, can you give me examples for each of this? And right there, again, it's calling the MCP and just trying to show you all these examples of what you can do. So just go back and forth. If you don't know where to get started, just go to Claude, make sure it's connected to the MCP and get started from there. But let's dive into some actual examples of what you can do with the MCP. Now, what we're going to do is start from what I call level 1, where it's just really simple prompts, really simple workflows, all the way to something slightly more complex, where we are bringing in external data, external applications. So let's get started. So level 1, how do we do a simple context search with just one prompt? So let's go here. And what I'll do is, again, using a simple prompt, I'll say something like, find me the contact information of this guy, Ashley Westwood, in Firmable. Now, if you guys do not know, Ashley Westwood is our head of growth. He's the person I report to, so I'm going to use him as an example. But you can start to see just from a simple prompt, it's calling the Firmable MCP, it's doing an AI search, and looking for all the Ashley Westwood that is in our database. Now, in this case, I said, great, just give me the Firmable, review the email. And if we just give it a couple of seconds, it should be able to review the email right away. Now you start to see, I'm just talking to Claude. At no point have I went into Firmable to click on different buttons, to click on different interface. I'm just working through Claude here. Now this is also a great time for me to introduce something else, which is the other rich data that we have in Firmable. When we store a contact information in our database, we have their things such as their work history and previous employment as well. I can ask simple things like, can you also show me more context of his role in Firmable and tell me his previous employment? Again, Claude using words is telling me what this person has done, what he or she is doing right now. And could this be something useful for you as an AE to be able to reach out with certain information, certain relevant information? You could even start to say, hey, how could we help this person using our product? Could you link it together? Could you create a story or a narrative? It's possible, again, through Claude. At this moment, I also want to introduce this whole idea of a skill. Now, assuming I might be doing this over and over again, maybe I'm someone that just looks for contact information all day and every day. I know that I'll be doing this often, so I'll just create a skill. And this skill, what it is essentially just a list of steps and instructions that I told Claude to do when I call this particular function here. So in this case, this skill, what it would do is first give me a widget to ask me, hey, can you type in a full name, title, as well as a company name? So I'm just going to do the same thing, Ashley Westwood, and I'm going to say Firmable, firmable.com. So it's the exact same thing, but the only difference is right now it's in a workflow, and I can just say, pull the email, and it will get me the same information again. That's pretty much it. That's just the first showcase of a really simple use case, getting a simple contact search. That's what we have. Now let's step it up. Let's imagine today I might not want to look for a single contact. I want to start to search based on titles. Now I can do that as well. So what I can do is, again, using natural language, I'll say something like, can you find me the head of sales, ANZ, and CRO in firmable.com? And again, what it's trying to do right now is trying to go to just find me those people in Firmable. Yeah. So the reason why AI is sort of asking me a few questions here is because I have a transcription here, or a fictional transcription, and it's looking at all my project files and saying, hey, could you just clarify some things for me? So I'll explain why I have that transcription later on, but this is the reason why it was confirming with me some things. But in this case, great. Just head of sales, CRO, and let's see what the Firmable MCP gets us. Oh, sorry. Let's just try it again. It might have been. Yeah, not sure why it's searching Procure Pro in this, but let's just see what we get. Yeah, this should be working fine now. Again, could be my internal documents, and it's just confusing Firmable with other companies here. Great. So in this case, you can see we have successfully found head of sales ANZ and the CRO, Tara and Luke, which we have. And think about it. Sometimes you as a sales rep, yes, you might want to reach out to the head of sales. You might want to reach out to the CRO, especially if you're selling some kind of solutions for the sales department. But many times when you're selling a solution, you might not just want to reach out to people in sales. Maybe you want to see who are the, what you call the buying committee, the influencers, the people who might be implementing, people in sales management positions or people in RevOps position. So here I can just tell Claude, I also want to look for people in sales, in RevOps, they are in management position. Help me just to build this sort of buying committee here. And at this point, this is what I get. I have Andrew, who's our sales manager, that's correct. Rupert, enterprise account manager, potentially. Brett, revenue operations manager. Pretty straightforward. And these are the things that you can start to do again. I want to repeat just with natural language within Claude itself. So that's level 1.2. And let's go to the last level for level 1, which is 1.3. This is where we are trying to surface signals directly in Claude and take action on them. So what I have here in the Firmable UI is that for those of you who do not know, we have some really powerful signals data. Let's imagine today I'm a sales rep for Firmable. I'm trying to sell our product to people who are in sales. Now, what is a good signal for me? Well, a good signal for me could be companies that are trying to hire sales rep. Because if they are trying to hire sales rep, it means that they are trying to get more business, they're trying to increase revenue, and they might need a solution like mine. So here, I've already set up a market signal where I'm scanning the market or everything in our database for all the companies that are trying to hire anyone in sales, business development manager, sales development manager, and I've got a list of companies here. Now, what I can start to do right now is, assuming I wake up and I just want to see, hey, who are the top companies I should be prioritizing today? Well, it's those companies that are that have the right signals for me. So here, I can simply type something like this in natural language. Hey, I've got a signal called Azure Market Signal Test. Find companies actively hiring in sales. I want to see all the companies that are hiring in the past 30 days. Now, as this MCP is working and finding the signal, I want to show you something that you can start to do, especially if you have internal documentations, what I call internal documents that give you more context. So here I've got two files, two markdown files actually. I've got a markdown file called firmableproduct.md, which has all the information about Firmable, what we do, who we serve, the personas we reach out to, the problems we solve. And secondly, I have what you call a cold email framework. every email I send to whichever prospects, I want it to follow either the 40 framework, PQS, or audit the offer. There's a couple of frameworks, but I just pretty much got Claude to create a few of these sort of internal documentations, and I'll show you how it's relevant. So let's get back into the signal. It's taking some time, but that's fine. Let's go to another project that I've created before, which is similar. So again, I've done this previously because I want to save time and make sure you guys see all the data that we can fetch. This same prompt, and you can see that from the Firmable MCP, we actually got all the companies that were hiring for sales positions and when the date was. Now, in this case, I said, great signals. These are signs that we can sell Firmable to them. Could you help me find all the relevant people? Now, instead of typing in, hey, find me the head of sales, CRO, blah, 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 I could just say, refer to the Firmable product markdown file, which again has all the information about us, who we sell to, and get context on it. So in this case, you can see they have started to give me back the answers. Hey, for all these companies, these are the people that you can reach out to. And I'll go one step further. I said, great, let's use the 40 framework for an email. Use this company as one of the example company that's going to receive the email. Show me an example of what this email could look like. So in this case, we're going to be reaching out to this person called Akosh. And this is the email that was generated using the 40 framework. Trigger, thing, third-party credibility, talk. And is this the best email? Probably not. For some of you, you might say, hey, this is too long. This could be better. But that's not the point. The point is you can get 80 to 85% there just by using natural language prompting, going back and from with the data from Firmable. And if I want to shorten it, I can. I can even say, hey, can you use Procure Pro, which is our customer, as a case study? And you can start to make the changes. So that's pretty much it for level 1. Now, before I go there, I know that there might be some questions. Jared or Kokum, are there any questions that keep coming up?
Yeah, I think there's a few questions around credit usage that's come up. So I think it's probably good to address that. Now, credit usage on Firmable, whether you connect through the MCP or whatever other services that we have, that remains the same. Now, there was a connected question, I think, around token usage when you're using Claude or ChatGPT or any other AI tool. Now, that token usage is maintained by Anthropic or OpenAI. It's the same as whenever you're talking to Claude or ChatGPT. But when you reveal those contacts, the credit usage on Firmable remains the same.
Beautiful.
Any other questions, Jared, before we go to the next one? Just want to make sure I answer all the
There
things.
was also a question here about when you're using this prompt, can you use like LinkedIn Sales Navigator?
So to sort of answer that question, I don't believe, and Kokum, I might be wrong in this, I don't think LinkedIn has any sort of MCP. So I don't think you can access data directly. But as you might have seen from my showcase earlier on, we do try to get the person's work history within our database as well. So you might not even have to use LinkedIn in this case. You can simply just, again, you can simply just ask Firmable, hey, tell me the person's background.
Yeah.
So that could be your solution right there.
Could sort of bypass. Love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And Asha, there's a request to see the 4 points for the T4 framework again.
Yep.
And there's also, while Asha's doing that, there's also some questions around the CRMs that are integrated. So pushing contacts or accounts to CRMs that are connected. Yes. Any CRM that's integrated onto Firmable, you can push contacts onto.
Yep. And in this case, I'm just going to answer the 40 framework. So by the way, I pretty much just got Claude to search the internet and create this for me. There are 3 people that I always follow, which is Josh Braun, Jordan Crawford, some of you might know them, and this guy called Taylor Heron, masters in cold email. So yeah, I pretty much just got Claude to research it for me. So if you want this 40 framework, honestly, you don't have to screenshot this. Just ask Claude, hey, can you search for the 40 framework by Josh Braun? Give me a quick summary. By the way, this was created with Claude as well. Obviously, I might have to just double check it. Maybe 10% is incorrect. Again, with all AI, right? But you can, again, get pretty much 90% there just with some simple prompts. Okay, for the sake of time, I'll just move on first. I know there will be more questions and we can answer it at the end. But let's move on to a different use case where this time around, we don't just want to deal with internal data. We want to deal with external data. So this could be for you, maybe if you're in marketing, you're in field marketing. You've got maybe a booth at the event. You've got tons of people coming in and registering. And maybe you've got a CSV full of first name, last name, title, and company, but no contact information. So in this case, I'm going to call this prompt called Firmable Contact Enrichment. And this skill, what it does is it will ask me a question first, which is, can you upload a CSV or Excel file with people information or something? So it's probably going to ask me, but I might have done this before. Yep, it's going to ask me for a CSV. Now, again, for the sake of time, let's just jump back to one that I've done before. In this case, I gave Claude a list of people who attended a webinar. Now, these people are all from Firmable, by the way. And you can see in this CSV file, all we have is the first name, last name, position or title, company name, and company website. That's all we have. And I'm telling Firmable MCP to say, hey, can you match them? We've matched all of them. And you can see the output is they've added a new line, which is the email. Simple enrichment from external sources. Really simple use case. And that's level 2. Now, level 3, let's change up the scenario. What if you want to build your custom prospecting list and you want to start to check with the CRM, for example? This is where we are bringing in different tools right now. So I'm just going to jump into something that I've done before, again, for the sake of time, because calling this can take some time, especially if it's a really big list. I'm going to call the Firmable Build Prospecting List. And the first thing it will ask, oh, maybe I'll just jump into this. Again, I've kind of created this skill to say that this skill is to be used to build a prospecting list. These are some of the questions that you must ask me. You must ask me about the companies that I want, and you must ask me about the type of personas that I want. So this skill is essentially just running through this workflow. Now, the first question they'll ask, what kind of companies are you targeting? Just describe it in natural language. In this case, I'm just going to say, find me the list of law firms that are headquartered in Melbourne, or Richmond area. By the way, the reason I use Melbourne, Enrichment area is because that's exactly where our Melbourne office is located at. So if you're in that area, come and say hi for sure. And in this case, using the Firmable MCP, it has matched law firms to legal services industry filter. Great. And it also found, in this case, the address or the location. But you start to realize, hey, this is still pretty, just law firms, it doesn't give enough information. I've made this skill such that it will prompt me for additional information. What employee size range? Are there any specific tech stack or technographics that you're looking for? And how many companies should I pull? And in this case, based on what our data set has, it only surfaced 4 companies that matches all those criteria. Now, this is the part where the intelligence of Claude, ChatGPT, or any other LLM comes into place, because it recognizes that, hey, you asked for 20, but I was only able to give you 4. Do you want to widen the filters? Do you want to make some changes? And I could do that if I want to. I can say, great, widen it to other areas. And this is where the intelligence come in. But in this case, I say, hey, just proceed. Next thing, can you find me all the personas? Here are the personas that I want. We have gotten these people as well. And I can say, great, these are the titles. Just go ahead, find me more of the people that are titled principals, managing director, and other titles that you might have just suggested. And here's the thing. Assuming I've done all these steps, sometimes for the sake of what you call data cleanliness, you might remember to yourself that, hey, I need to check with the CRM. Has anyone contacted them? Are they even in the HubSpot CRM? So this is where I can call and ask, hey, can you check all the 4 companies? Which are the ones I already have in my HubSpot CRM? Match it by the domain. And in this case, because I'm also connected to the HubSpot connector or the HubSpot MCP, it has given back to me that, hey, out of the 4 companies, 2 of them are already in HubSpot. And from here, what I can do is either I view the record, or I can just say, great, go ahead and create the the companies for me in HubSpot. And if I have good, proper internal documentation, I can even put that as a markdown file and say that wherever you create a company in HubSpot, make sure you fill in these fields as well. So that is use case 3, building your own prospecting list. Now, number 4, I just want to showcase a few more things, which is lookalikes. And this is one of the features that we have in our MCP. Let's imagine a scenario, right? You are a sales rep, you just close, assuming the biggest deal of your life. Perfect customer, great industry, great use case, great personas. You might think to yourself, hey, I want to replicate the success of this company. What can I do? Well, you can do what we call lookalikes. I'm going to call the skill, which uses the Firmable MCP lookalikes function. And this skill, what it will first ask me is, hey, what company should I use as an example? Give me an example of a good company that you have worked with. So in this case, I'm going to use Procure Pro, right? It's our customer. We have their public case study. And I say, look for lookalikes of this company and specifically construction SaaS related companies. And in this case, it's asking me the additional questions again. Employee size range, technographics, companies. And here is the confirm shortlist. Again, they will ask me if I want to widen the pool because I asked for 10, they will only be able to give me 3. But that's fine. I want to move forward. And this time round, they said, hey, let's find the right people. Again, remember that I have the Firmable product MD file, which has all the relevant titles that we reach out to. Instead of describing the titles and everything, I can just say, refer to my markdown file. All the context is there. And because they're referring to that now, I have all the relevant personas across all these different companies. And again, I'm trying to tell them, hey, could you write me an email for David? Let's try it out. And it's giving me the email here. Now, probably one of the things that I should have written in the core email frameworks is make sure that you normalize the company name as well. But you start to see, as long as you have built a proper documentation, you can reuse a lot of these things over and over again because those are the things that you'll be doing regardless for which company. The foundation stay the same, the frameworks stay the same. You just got to make sure that you have some proper documentation or some proper markdown file to showcase that. And with that, the last one, I know there might be questions, but this is the last use case and we'll answer some questions. This is what I call a bonus use case. Let's imagine I have a sales recording tool. I've got CRM, I've got Firmable. How can we bring it all together? Now, let's think about your life as a sales rep. Assuming you do a lot of virtual calls, you might have a ton of call recordings, or maybe you might be doing 5 to 10 calls a day. But sometimes there are certain calls, maybe something have been discussed. There are things such as, hey, you maybe during the call you discuss the prospect and it's something like, hey, you might want to reach out to this person, they are the right person. These sort of things. How can you bring it all together? Now, in this case, I've added a transcript, a fictional transcript, by the way. This, assuming I'm a sales rep at Firmable called Asher, and I'm talking to this guy called Daniel from Procure Pro. By the way, there's no person called Daniel. This is fictional, but this is probably what a lot of your transcript will look like in your different applications. Now, many things have been discussed. There are things that I have to do. There are things that I have to start. There are people that I have to start reaching out to based on this call and based on what we have discussed. So in this case, I can just again pull into Claude and say, hey, I've got a call with this company. Can you bring in the transcript and tell me the quick overview of the call and what are the next steps that I have to do? In this case, there's the call overview. And the call overview in this fictional transcript, Daniel said, hey, you have to speak also with the RevOps lead, the CRO, and the head of sales ANZ. And here are the next steps that is discussed. Now, at this point, instead of me going into the different applications and trying to get these people and find these people, all I can do is, great, find me these 3 people at Procure Pro using the Firmable MCP. Help me to write a 3 LinkedIn connection message as a simple hello. By the way, I've spelled, because again, I was using dictation. Firmable MCP did not come out properly, but that's fine. Again, Claude is smart enough to know that I'm referring to this particular tool. So in this case, they found the relevant people and they have given me some LinkedIn connection message ideas. But maybe some of you really don't want the AI to be writing things for you. That is fine as well. Sometimes when it comes to LinkedIn, I don't like AI to write everything for me, but I could definitely get AI to give me ideas. So I could say, hey, for the LinkedIn message, just give me the summary. Just give me things, over here. Instead of writing the personalized messages, just give me interesting facts about history, which I could use. And here, again, using the Firmable MCP, is giving me all these details of these people. Like Philip, for example, he pretty much has been in construction his whole life. I could send him a simple LinkedIn message and say something like, hey, we're speaking with Daniel. By the way, love that you've been in construction your whole life. You're definitely an expert in your field. That is something relevant. That is something personalized, showing that you've done your research. So with that being said, we have pretty much come to the end of everything, at least for my introductions. But I hope it inspires everyone and gives you some ideas in terms of what can be done with the Firmable MCP and how it can connect to different tools and how it just speeds up your day-to-day workflow as a sales rep, as an SDR. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I think we have more questions, Jared, but I'll pass it to you. But happy to answer any questions.
That is fantastic. Asher, thanks so much for walking through this. Folks are definitely very excited with the capabilities this brings to the table. I did want to take a moment to talk through the new Connect Firmable website, because we did have a few questions on how people can get started. To help people in different roles really take advantage of this new technology, we've designed a new website which is connect.firmable.ai, and this is really going to be your new sort of one-stop shop to learn about the native CRM integrations that Firmable offers, which you'll be able to see listed here, as well as the different integrations that we offer on the platform, from webhooks to API access, and of course the MCP connector that we've talked about today. When you head into the MCP section, you'll be able to see some setup guides for both the Claude and ChatGPT setup guides. So if you finish up the call today and want to get started straight away, please head into there. I did also see a question come through on the session around Microsoft Copilot. That's a great idea, and something that we've been hearing from customers. And the product team is actively exploring adding this onto our roadmap so that we can support both Copilot, but obviously Claude and ChatGPT, which are really, really popular out there. The third thing I wanted to highlight on the new website here is the Firmable Marketplace. And this is going to be a really good place for you to get started once you've connected the connector. What we've done here is broken it down for different roles, whether you're a account executive, a sales manager, or you could be in RevOps or marketing. And you'll find a detailed list here broken down by both prompts that you can use with the MCP connector and go-to-market skills on the left here. Have a browse through here, have a look into which ones are going to be sort of most useful for your particular role. You'll notice when you open the skill, it'll give you more detailed information about what this particular skill does, the different use cases, and then the skill definition, which you can download or copy straight into Claude or ChatGPT. So we hope this really helps people both get started and start playing around with these different prompts and skills that they can put into their daily workflow. Now, I did want to save some time for Q&A. We had quite a few really good questions come through, so I'll open the room to questions now.
Jared, I might be able to answer some of the questions because I was just looking through the chat. I think Will, at the very beginning, you asked, can you do more edge cases like finding head of procurement from XYZ companies? Hopefully, with the use cases that I've shown you, that is possible. Again, natural language. Find me the head of procurement at XYZ company. Even better, if you can create the internal markdown file of the people that you target. And what I always like to tell people is this, right? When you're creating the internal file, just keep it simple, just talk. Give it your website, talk to Claude and say, hey, help me to create a file. This is what the file should have. Things like what I do, personas I reach out to based on my website. Tell me what you've created and I'll give you feedback. Just have the back and forth. Someone asked also around the question of credit usage. Yes, obviously, anytime you review something, it uses credits. But what I would recommend is this, right? as you saw me going through the different use cases, the emails just came out like pretty easily. That would consume 1 credit. Obviously, for me, I'm working internally in Firmable, so it doesn't really matter for me. But there are things that you can do within the Firmable connector or the MCP. You can always say needs approval, particularly when it comes to reviewing where is it? Yeah, reviewing their emails or phone numbers. Always get my approval first, just so you're not wasting a lot of different credits. Because again, sometimes they might just give you everything that you want, and you just gotta have a little bit of a, I guess, limit or safeguard against those things, which you can do in the Firmable MCP.
Yep. And something else worth adding to that, you can always ask the MCP, hey, does this cost me a credit? I think there was also a question around what tools are available in the MCP. You can ask that from the MCP as well. You can ask questions from Claude when the MCP is connected, Claude or any other AI tool, and it'll be able to answer those questions.
I did have a
Yeah.
really interesting question come through here, Kokum, around
Mhm.
when using the MCP and let's say Claude, if you do find that there's like an incorrect like contact or like phone number or email, can you flag that while you're in like the chat so that the team at Firmable will know? Or is that something you
No,
should go to the dashboard?
that will require you going to the dashboard. There's no communication back towards Firmable in terms of data accuracy at the moment.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank
Yep.
you.
And I think there was also quite a bit of questions around the skills. So connect.firmable.ai that Jared walked everybody through. Our skills that we've created live there, and we'll continue to add on more and more skills, especially as more and more tools come online with the MCP as well.
Yeah, definitely encourage everyone to carve some time out this afternoon and go have a look through the skills and download and try a few of them.
Yeah.
I might just answer 2 questions that I'm seeing in the chat. I think those will be pretty good questions to answer. Let me just get into the right screen first. Because a lot of people were asking, hey, can I connect to this application? Can I connect to this application? So I think a lot of people were asking, hey, can I connect to this? Can I connect to that? One thing that I could put as a distinction here is within the Firmable app itself, we do connect to a few applications natively. So for example, if you go into integrations, we connect with HubSpot, Pipedrive, and a few like Salesforce, Dynamics. Some of you are using Zoho. So does that mean it's impossible for me to, once I get the data from the Firmable MCP, does it mean I can't push it into Zoho? Not exactly, because and I don't know about this. I don't know if Zoho has an MCP, but if Zoho has an MCP, you could pretty much connect Zoho separately to Claude, just like what we are doing here with HubSpot. Get the information from Firmable first and say, hey, can you get me all this information, name, email, phone number? Now, can you push it to Zoho using the Zoho MCP? So it's slightly different. Instead of just pushing natively in Firmable, you're kind of doing more steps. But Zoho and all, we do have clients asking us for it. So Kokum is working on it really hard for sure. So that's
Zoho
one.
does have an MCP connector
Perfect.
natively built in. So I think that's a good shout out, Asha. If there's multiple tools that are connected via MCP, I mean that's the whole purpose of having our MCP up as well. So if you connect all of these to your Claude instance, you can use all of these tools together in your workflow.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
And I think there's 2 questions there. Will they tell you if a number is on a DNC list? Yes, definitely. You might have missed it early on, I think, Kaylee, but yes. When a phone number is reviewed, they will tell you whether it's on the DNC list, the do not contact list. So that's for sure. Kokum, Andrew has a question, is that if we have already reviewed a contact in the Firmable, can we, am I right to assume that we won't be charging for that particular profile because it's already been reviewed?
Yes. If it's already been revealed in Firmable, won't charge again. So once again, credit usage remains exactly the same across the board through whatever services that we have. If you have revealed that contact in one place, we're not charging you for it in another place.
Yeah, got it.
I know a few people were asking me for the skills. The skills are already uploaded, or let me just double check if it's uploaded in the marketplace. That is in the Connect website. But for like the frameworks and all, drop me a LinkedIn DM potentially. I'll be happy to send it to you. But again, just to let everybody know, it's not perfect. I literally just it's one single prompt. Hey, help me to create a markdown file for the 40 frameworks. These are the three people to get ideas from. So you might want to create it yourself because it might not be perfect, but I'm happy to just share it with you and you can iterate on that.
Love that.
There's also a question asking what's for lunch. In the Firmable office today, it's chicken, I believe.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful place called Chook here in Richmond that does amazing fried chicken and some salads. So I think everyone's getting stuck into that today.
Yeah, how they suggest we do not fall. Yeah, I think the last few questions are just all about like how do you ensure we are compliant and everything. Kokon, do you want to do the last part? Because this is more around
So
compliance, CNC and everything.
yeah, our compliance remain the same again on the platform and Firmable on the MCP. I'm pretty sure we could give you more details if you contact us or, in more detail.
Fantastic. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, but we are at time and I want to respect everyone's afternoon. But just wanted to say a massive thank you for everyone joining today. I think this has been such a great group. And I really appreciate everyone jumping in and asking lots of questions and giving their perspective on these use cases. As we mentioned, please jump on this afternoon to connect.firmable.ai to look through the new marketplace with the skills and prompts that Ash has walked through. A couple of housekeeping things as well I wanted to mention. We have recorded today's webinar, so we'll be sending through a copy to everyone later this afternoon. So if you do want to re-watch some of the workflows Ash has walked through, you'll be able to do so. Another thing we also wanted to call out is we've got a short survey. This will appear directly on your screen in a couple of minutes. So before you do leave, please take a couple of minutes to walk through that survey and answer the questions. We're really keen to run some more sessions like this in the future, and we'd love to grab your feedback on what worked well and what sort of topics you'd like to see in the future. So please take a moment, it'll appear on your screen, and we hope to have you in the next session that we're running in the not too distant future. But with that, massive thank you to Asha and a massive thank you to Kokum for co-hosting with me today. I think this has been an amazing session, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.